Broadcasting from the C lot of Joan C. Edwards Stadium, the ThunderCast is here with all the sights and sounds of game day. We are your tailgate destination. We are your fan base amplification. We are the ThunderCast, and we are live. We are live from the C lot at Joan C. Edwards Stadium, Russ. It's homecoming for the Herd. The Appalachian State Mountaineers are in town. What a gorgeous day for some football. I'm ready.
I'm ready too, man. This is going to be the best weather we've had for a game this year. And KD, you know, it's been a long time that people have said this. People say you always look like the kind of guy that have a pepperoni roll on him at all times. And, you know, I just happen to have that. So, one of the foods that we're going to have here today, pepperoni rolls.
Yeah.
Come get them if you're in the lot.
Well, it seems fitting, right? Because it's homecoming. You want one of West Virginia's homegrown foods, and there's nothing that says that like a good old homemade pepperoni roll. Of course, there's some other things on the menu as well. The coolers are cooling, the people are people, and this is a great day to be down at Joan C. Edwards Stadium. If you're at home watching, we appreciate you, but you should be right down here on the C lot because you're missing one hell of a time. Not a rain cloud to be seen, hell, not any type of cloud to be seen, really. And a big game on tap, a huge game on tap with championship implications potentially.
Yep.
Definitely Sunbelt East Division implications.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about the big game. Let's talk about homecoming.
Historical rival.
Yeah.
Well-respected Appalachian State. We've had them on the way back in the Southern Conference. I was coming here to games, you know, way before the MAC era, and, you know, we played them. They gave us the first loss in this stadium. You know, a stadium where there was only one loss until, let's see, that was in 93, I think. Several more years before we had another loss.
Yeah.
So that was the only loss we had for a while. Historic rival. It's always been a close game here since we started this series back up, with the exception of last year. I'm looking for a really fun back and forth game today. Yeah,
me too. It's just like I said in the regular ThunderCast preview episode. This feels like a throwback SoCon game.
It does.
It just feels like that. For as good as App has been for a really long time, in this early season, it doesn't feel like they are as dangerous as you would have expected them to be. It doesn't mean they're not dangerous. It just means I think they expected to be a lot better than their records indicating. I think we expected them to be a lot better than their records indicating. But still, here we are, both of us, 2-2, with so much to fight for in this homecoming for the Herd.
Yeah, and we're going to get into breaking down each individual thing here. But both of us thought this was going to be a close game, maybe come down to a field goal, a touchdown, something like that.
Yeah.
Your thoughts still around the same?
Yeah, there's nothing since we recorded the preview episode that has come across the airwaves or has made its way around news cycles that says to me, hey, there's a big shift in what I think is going to happen. This could be one of those games that it literally comes down to who has the football last.
Yeah.
A lot of times I don't like for that to happen, right? Of course, as a Herd fan, you want the game to be well in hand as early as possible, and you can just cruise to victory. But there's a game that when you approach that game, it feels like you need to have a hard-fought game, right? We saw a little bit of that last week against Western Michigan, which really shouldn't have been that way. But since this is a Sunbelt game, I feel like I want to see a little bit of a dogfight. I want to see kind of what the Herd's made of a little bit, right? And obviously I want to see them come out on top of that fight, but I wouldn't be mad at a huge blowout. I just don't think it's going to happen, and I would like to see them have to show a little bit of moxie in front of a home crowd against a good opponent and come out with a big win.
Well, let's talk about the crowd. Anyone has been paying attention on herdzone.com or looking at tickets and everything, it's kind of scarce in each section, and so it kind of looks like we'll have 27,000 plus.
I like that.
Maybe closer to the 29,000 mark. I'd love to see us 28.5 and above. But what that does is a couple of things. One, app always travels really well.
Yep.
But I would love to see an electric atmosphere here. We talked on our recent recap about how we did not have an electric atmosphere at Western Michigan, weather, all the things that went into that. But I really, really want a 3:30 game. If we're going to have a 3:30 game in early October, I want it to be an electric atmosphere, and I think that's what we're going to have today.
Well, you have to have it, and folks that listen to the preview episode, they know that was my number 4 key to victory today. It doesn't mean it's the 4th most important, but it's just where it fell on the list. An exciting, engaged crowd at Jones C. Edwards does something different for the herd, and it can't be the team igniting the crowd. It has to be the other way around. And I said this before, I'm going to say it again, because if this game were in Boone, North Carolina, they would not have to ask their crowd to be engaged.
No, they
fill the place.
They pack Kid Brewer. They pack it every game.
And they stay loud. They stay engaged. That's what was such an anomaly to me about that game against South Alabama, is I saw so many App fans leaving the game early, and that's just not something that I'm used to seeing.
So we're talking about App, we're talking about Kid Brewer, we're talking about, of course, then Boone. I need to mention right now, they were decimated with the hurricane that came through there, and we jumped out early to try to do some kind of thing that we could do, and we wanted to make it from a bunch of different herd fans, a group of herd fans, make one donation. So we've been taking online donations all week.
Yep.
We have a donation jar here. If you happen to find yourself listening to this, watching this, and you're in the stadium parking lot, come by, drop some physical money in here. Later on in this show, we're going to transfer that money on. If you're at home, hit me up on Venmo. It'd probably be the easiest way. It's at Russ Livinggood, RUSLIVINGOOD. Later today, we're going to make a pretty sizable donation to App State's fund that they have set up for this.
Yeah, I think anybody that's been paying attention knows how bad the North Carolina region, the Boone region, was hit, and when the SBC goes through something like that, we tend to rally around each other, and that's what makes us a little bit different, right? And we can't do everything, but we can do something. And individually, all of us can do a little something to where collectively it's a much larger impact. We're not asking for $100. We're not asking for 50. If you've got that and you want to donate that, please Venmo Russ at Russ Livinggood. If you've got $2 laying around or $1 laying, it doesn't matter, because it's all going into one big pot, and we're going to make this donation at the end of the show, and the money's going to go straight to the official App State Relief Fund. That's at appstate.edu. That's the link we're utilizing. So it's a great cause. And along with that, of course, we opened our tailgate, as we always do, to any and every App State fan that made the trip to Huntington. If you need a place to tailgate, if you're at home and you're an App State fan and you're tuned into this and you have friends or family that came to the game and they didn't know where they can tailgate, they can walk right over here right now and tailgate with us. We're on the corner of the C lot, right underneath the giant Marshall video board that's just off camera. You cannot miss us. And like Russ usually says, we're the only guys with mics and headphones on right now. So we're really, really easy to find. We have a couple of App fans behind the camera that have been here with us for a while, enjoying themselves and having a great time.
Yeah, if you see a dude holding a microphone, has headphones on, and is keeping a pepperoni roll in his pocket, that'd be me. Just come on by, have a good time, come to our tailgate, and everything is free because of landscaping by Hillcrest, and we're going to talk about them a little bit later after we talk more football.
Of course, and we wouldn't be talking football at this ThunderCast Live powered by IgniteLink without IgniteLink, the guys that make it all happen for us each and every home game. So thankful for what they do so that herd fans that can't make it to the game, herd fans that are hundreds or thousands of miles away, are able to get a little bit of the game day environment, get a taste of what homecoming is in 2024 by tuning in to the ThunderCast YouTube channel, because this is being live streamed from the C lot, all thanks to Jed from IgniteLink.
That's right.
Talk football. Let's talk football. We both think it's going to be a really close game. We had a slight difference of opinion on how we thought we might get the victory. I think either of our takes is plausible and either is likely. So let's talk about that. Let's just go right into these keys to victory. Let's revisit our keys to victory. I think by now most folks know who are the main players for App State that they need to be worried about. They've gone to ESPN, checked the stats, or they listen to our show and check the stats.
Number one, obviously, quarterback Joey Aguilar.
Yeah.
1,230 yards on the year, 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He has not been putting up, like 15 touchdowns first 4 games, something absurd. But 1,230 yards is absurd through 4 games. You're looking at over 300, and obviously a game, 305, 306, whatever it was. So we are looking at somebody's going to come in here. They're going to throw the ball all around. Joey Aguilar has plenty of experience. We saw him last year, what he could do, and he's a threat at any time to put up a bunch of yards on us. Always a threat to throw a touchdown. We have got to keep him in check today.
Always a threat to put up some scoring, but like you indicated, it's not really showing up that way right now. It's a lot of yards, but it's not a lot of point production to go along with those yards. And I got to say, I'll take that, right? Because I'd much rather have a QB pass for 300 yards and maybe only throw 1 TD pass rather than a guy like we saw Stone Earl do last week, sub 200-yard passing day, but 3 touchdown passes.
I'd rather take the 3 touchdowns.
Absolutely, I would, because yards don't win games, points win games. But you're right, taking care of Joey Aguilar is probably the biggest defensive key to victory for the Herd today. And like I said, I echoed that in the show, and I think to drive that home, what we have to do, what we have to see from the Herd defense is penetration from the D-line only, without having to bring a blitz, without having to do something special. I need to see penetration against a really good Appalachian State offensive line to really get Joey Aguilar on the move, to get him off the spot, to rush throws, all of those things, because he's a surgeon in the pocket. If you let him stand back there, if you give him time, he's going to find an open receiver. So we really have to have big-time production from that Herd defensive line today.
So we're talking get defensive line in the backfield. What have they done a great job of preventing letting anybody get in the backfield?
Yeah.
3 sacks so far on the year through 4 games. And by the way, they went up against Clemson.
Yes, they did. And I mentioned this also. They've only allowed 1 sack each of the last 3 games. So they're not impenetrable. It's just it's difficult to have some success, some sustained success against this offensive line for App State. But we happen to have a couple of guys that just kind of specialize in living in the backfield. And of course the charge is led by number 15, Mike Green. And last week we saw some real flashes from Jabari Ishmael. So will this bookend duo for the Herd be able to make some noise? Will they be able to create opportunities for one another? Will they be able to create opportunities for some of those down linemen, for Tyquez Legs, for Chris Thomas? Will you see a safety blitz? J.J. Roberts was a missile last week. Will you see him come up on a safety blitz and maybe make some things happen? Or will it come from the second level? We've seen the Herd get better at the second level every game this year, and we're going to need to see more of the same this week.
So I'm going to jump in here, fellas, and say that as you're talking about the defense, Michael Bias has asked specifically, how are we feeling about the defense? Hopefully they improve this game.
I think one of the things that I said, and KD didn't outright disagree with me, he didn't feel exactly the same way I did, is last week we only had those 2 drives that were problematic. We had given up 93, I think, 97, somewhere through there, yards in the first half. It wasn't much of a concern for me, as KD thought it was more of a concern, because I felt that we corrected it. KD felt like we should have corrected it before then, just a little bit before then. So speaking for him right now, I'll say that, we're thinking that it is not going to be as big of an issue, especially in the run game going up against what we're at, that they were much more tailored to the run last week, Western Michigan was, than what we're going to see today. Now, letting KD speak, he's going to say something slightly different, obviously.
A little bit different, but you summarized it pretty well. My whole thing from the get-go last week was you start earlier in the game with being aggressive with the safeties closer to the line of scrimmage, and we didn't do that. That's why Russ was saying, I thought we should have done that earlier, because once we did do that, you saw it harder to run, and that's what I'm talking about, J.J. Roberts being an absolute missile last week. Now, I'm not saying we need to do that this week. I think our safeties and our DBs are better served in coverage and trying to blanket the field, right?
We're talking about last week going up against a more one-dimensional running team, to where this game is not one-dimensional. They are just so more effective as throwing the ball that we're going to need that 4-2-5. We're going to need that nickel package to be focused on the receivers a lot more than we had to last week.
Yeah, so the one thing I didn't mention in the show is defensive communication. I talked about blown coverages, but that's not always the same thing, because you can have the right communication in place and just get beat off the line, and you have also a blown coverage. I think defensive communication is a big factor today with the Herd. And we haven't really seen any huge gaps, any huge lapses, from the defensive side this year. So I like where we're at, and I actually do think we'll see a bounce-back game, especially on run defense. App just doesn't seem to be running the ball very well this year as opposed to previous years. Doesn't mean they can't tear you up. It's just not been there right now.
I'm going to take it a little step further, and Michael, I love the question, because that's a very, very good question to discuss for this game. But I think we not only see a bounce back, I see us taking it to a level that we haven't yet this year, and it's creating some turnovers.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah. That would be nice. We mentioned also App's defense is really good at punching the football out.
Get him a mic and head. Get him a mic and headphones for this man.
Listen, if anybody knows how to break down a daggone defense, it's this man right here.
He's going to get you some mic and headphones, then come back over. Yeah.
Let me swing through.
All right.
Go there. I'm gonna swing through.
Yeah.
I come back.
You just do whatever you want, LV.
No, hey, I come back.
It's LV's world right now. So I lost my train of thought. I don't know what the heck I was talking about.
We were talking about creating turnovers.
Yeah, creating turnovers. We mentioned that this App State defense loves to punch the football out. They've got 4 forced fumbles on the season. That's something that the Herd is going to have to be aware of on offense. Extra protection of the football, making sure, especially on those long runs like we see A.J. Turner break loose. Last week, I thought I might see that. As he's running down, he had a defender closing down, and instead of trying to make a punch, the guy went for the tackle.
Yeah.
I think you see App defenders go for the punch out this game. So I love where the defense is at. I think I'm going to see a bounce back effort. I'm really not worried at this point about pass protection, or not pass protection, but pass coverage. I really feel good about the pass rush. Now I think the thing for me is, will the Herd defense limit those yards after contact? That's the key for me.
That is really, we saw that in the Ohio State game, and of course that is Ohio State. But it was something that we both kind of said, we might want to watch that the rest of the year. Many of our fans said if that is something that poses itself to be something we see each week, we're not going to win as many games as we can if we're missing tackles and allowing people to get extra yards, extend those drives, that sort of thing. So we have got to see that dialed in. I'm with you. I really hope we don't see a bunch of broken tackles.
Excellent question by Michael. That's gave us a lot discussion just
about
now.
About 5 minutes worth of talk. That's why you tune in, and like Michael, he's constantly watching, constantly commenting. Michael, great question. Brought up a lot of good discussion. Jed, do we have anybody else?
Not at the moment.
Well, that's okay.
So,
That's what I was about to say is if you are watching the live stream, feel free to get into the chat and ask those questions. Jed is monitoring that just off camera, and he'll feed us those questions if you've got something particular that you'd like us to talk about. But since we talk defense, we might as well talk offense, right? Stone Earl, I think last week against Western Michigan, cemented himself as quarterback one. We talked about that repeatedly. He had a really good game. What was our main concern? It was the number of hits that he has taken throughout the courses of games early in this season.
That's right.
We both think that's a trend that absolutely has to change if we expect him to remain mostly healthy for the duration of an entire season. So that's the big concern for me. And it has nothing to do, honestly, with the Herd's offensive line. It's the number of hits he takes either on designed runs or a read off of a pass play where he just tucks it and runs. So
yeah, because through 4 games right now, we're looking at, oh, by the way, you can't see it, there goes Matt James's baby in the stroller.
no.
Matt, if you ever watch this.
Sweet baby James.
Yeah, you still need to bring Sailor by the house. But we've given up 5 sacks through 4 games.
Yeah.
We have done a great job with not only this offensive line, with a lot of new faces. We have done a great job with the system that the coaches have brought in, and they said, you know, if we're getting the ball out in less than 3 seconds, it's going to be really hard to give up sacks. It's going to be really hard for them to come back there and create pressure on the quarterback, and we are giving our quarterback every opportunity in the pocket to do that. Now, the big hits are coming. You can't run 15 times a game and not take a big hit.
That just comes with the territory. You know, football is a collision sport. You're going to take hits, but it's about limiting those opportunities, or not opportunities, it's about limiting those hits, but while also trying to capitalize on the opportunities that you get. And you mentioned it before, you see earlier success in games from him running the football. I think that's where you see the switch up, because it's been happening earlier in games. Will it happen later in games? Will it happen instead of first things first? Will it happen second half? Is that where you see the reads? Do we fall back, drop back, and pass more in this early part of this homecoming game against Appalachian State, just to switch it up, just to show something that we haven't shown early?
As the game goes on throughout the year, you got more and more film to study about, things that are going on, scenarios, situations, formations. What do they do in this? What do they do that? This is a great time to throw out a new wrinkle when you're talking about going into conference play for the first time.
Absolutely. I'm not saying you throw out all the stops. Because,
not all, no. But you're going to have different packages. You're going to have different lineups. You're going to have maybe more throws to the tight end, because earlier in the season we didn't do that as much.
Right.
You've seen that we can do that. Beautiful play last week to do that.
And you see what happens when you haven't done that. This is you bring in a handful of new plays that is specifically designed to dissect this Appalachian State defense, to gain you some success, or put a couple of scores on the board, or at least some chunk plays to get you in a position to run maybe more of your base offense and get yourself a touchdown when you need one, or just to add on to a lead.
Yeah.
I just can't get past the fact that this feels just like such a classic 90s game right now. This does not feel like a 2024 shootout game. It feels like just your classic freaking football game, and I'm kind of here for it. I don't know why it feels refreshing, but it just does.
The only thing for me is it feels like it should be a 7:00 night game.
Absolutely.
When you're playing App State, it just feels like something that you want to do is have that back and forth night game. There's a wing right there. Hey, Jim, Miller Lite for me, please. No, I'm right here with you, man. I love this rivalry. I love having us be in a conference where you can have a rival game like this.
Yeah.
And it means something.
Yeah.
You've got manufactured rivals. Thank you. Manufactured rivals in other conferences. And we kind of had to do that before.
For sure.
But now we're in a regional conference that we also, as soon as we came in, we had history with several different teams. But App State fans care, we care, and I'm here for it today.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I'm going to interrupt because you never know who's going to swing by the ThunderCast. Hey,
That's true.
KD, I've got a gentleman here who wants to tell you guys a story.
Sure.
Give him about Katie, if you can just use your mic.
I'm going to hand you my mic, and I'm just going to step off cam, and you can have my spot.
All right. Well, thanks a lot.
No
hey,
problem.
how you doing?
Good to meet you.
Hey, thanks to meet you too. Well, listen, my name's Rob Rogers. I came here 44 years ago to be a student at Marshall University. I was a band member, so the games were at Fairfield Stadium. All right, so the first game I went to as a freshman, it was cold, and we lost, but that's beside the point. But at the halftime, everybody was like, oh God, we got to go get the hot Dr. Pepper. I'm like, hot Dr. Pepper? I never heard of it. So I went and got one. It was a memory. I'm offering them at McDonald's over here today for $1.99, but I wanted to bring a sample by. Let you guys try it when you feel like it.
Okay.
And I was able to make it just like they sold in the old stadium over at Fairfield and let everybody have a memory.
Yeah, well, thank you.
So it was a real hot item back then.
Yeah, so how often do you get back?
Oh, I live here in the area. I
great.
never left.
Awesome.
It became the place I wanted to stay.
I did the same. I came here in '97, and I've never left. And
there you go.
They'll never get rid of me as much as they want to. But no, that's awesome. Should I try one now?
That'd be great if you want to try it right now. It's it shouldn't burn you at this point. But
I can open it up.
I just about decided it must have been a good mixer, was why it was such a popular item.
Hey, KD. I need KD to hold my mic for a second so I don't burn myself.
Okay.
There you go. So a lot of people haven't heard of this, and I didn't really realize that, but in the 60s and 70s it was a big thing. Even in the mid-80s at Fairfield Stadium, it'd be at the concession.
What are you drinking?
It's called a hot Dr. Pepper.
Oh.
So it's hot Dr. Pepper poured over a lemon?
He's got one for you as well.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I want you guys to be able to try it.
Yeah.
Enjoy the
I'm going to say I'm not mad at it. This is good.
Yeah.
I don't drink much pop, but when I do, I like to have a Dr. Pepper because I like the taste and everything. So, no, this is good, and I could see in a cold night how this would be really good at a football tailgate.
I would maybe steal that recipe, because that might be on the menu at a tailgate later this year. Sounds like a 75 type thing, maybe.
Hey, well, we're thinking about offering it the next 2 cold games in November. We'll see how it goes today. But today, especially for the memory for everybody, here at homecoming.
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
I think.
Thank you so much for stopping by. And he first had this in was it 1980? You said.
Actually, 1979.
1979. That was the year we were born.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
The death of disco and hot Dr. Pepper.
Absolutely. Absolutely. See?
And some 45 years later, us two knuckleheads standing right here talking.
There you go.
And now you're introducing the hot Dr. Pepper to a whole new generation.
Whole new generation. If you're out there,
Absolutely.
so you said we're going to offer this at the next 2.
Yeah, I think we might. It's going to be cold. We'll probably have it over there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, it is a temporary item.
Yeah.
Hey, well, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Hope you have a great homecoming here today.
Appreciate you stopping by and sharing this with the world.
Absolutely.
Here's to a big win.
Yeah. And go Herd.
Go Herd.
Go Herd.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
This is actually pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, this is to tell you guys at home. It's kind of like if you have a sore throat or something, you say, "I want to get a hot tea with some lemon and everything." Yeah. Only it tastes like warmed up Dr. Pepper. So
very much the vibe I'm getting from it. Very good. Right as rain. Hot Dr. Pepper is very accurate.
Yeah. All right.
Where were we in the breakdown of this damn game? Keys to victory?
Yeah, we were talking about that. Let's take a quick break since we're already in a little break, and just say for anybody that's in the lot right now and you're watching or listening to this, come over to the tailgate. We got plenty of food. We didn't tell you what it was other than me having a pepperoni roll in my pocket earlier, but we've got pepperoni rolls, we've got wings with different sauces and dips, and we've got brats. We got the Blackstone grill over here, we got a fryer over here, so all this stuff is fresh. Come over. KD, who made it possible for them to come over and eat and drink, whatever?
It's Landscaping by Hillcrest. You can find them at landscapingbyhillcrest.com and gather all of the contact info. They are your one-stop shop for not just landscaping. Don't be fooled by the name. If you want to transform your outdoor space, they should be your very first point of contact, because I'm telling you, the pictures on the website should win you over. But I feel once you talk to them, give them an opportunity to win your business, you won't need to search any farther. It's landscapingbyhillcrest.com.
You know, last year one of our frequent viewers was watching this, and earlier this year in the spring game they were watching this, and they're watching the show and they saw where we got Landscaping by Hillcrest offered all this. So they went to their website like we told them to do.
Yep.
What they do, they ended up putting in a really big pool with concrete features around, hardscape features in their backyard, all because they tuned into this.
That's right, and that's what it's all about. So that leads me to another point. If you are a small business owner, a local business in Huntington, and you like doing business with herd fans because you are a herd fan, then the ThunderCast is here to help you reach that audience. We have plenty of sponsorship opportunities available. We have other ways that you can be involved with the ThunderCast. Call us, DM us on Twitter, holler at Russ on Facebook, email us at thundercast_pod@gmail.com and see how we can help you and you can help herd fans. And of course, we could not be doing ThunderCast Live, powered by IgniteLink, like I said, without IgniteLink. And we have several members of the Horton family here today helping us out. Not only is Jed the man behind the curtain, the great and powerful Oz. I just met Jed's sister. And, yeah, I'm talking about you. And Jed's daughter's back there helping us out, too.
And I see several of the IgniteLink team here, the Layer 1 Solutions team here. We've got a lot of people here from Jed's businesses. Man, they do it all.
They do it all.
They do it all.
From the first piece of wire that needs run to live streaming a tailgate show.
Yeah, which he often says, I don't do that. But look how well he does it.
He does it so horribly that we're live on the Sea Lot.
You're watching right now. Most people around here can't get a cell phone connection, and Jed has us live in your living room or live on your phones. But now we're going to hear from Jed in a little bit as well. Back to this football game and what we're looking for.
Yeah.
I originally said 34-31. What were you?
I was 31-24.
Yeah.
We're right kind of in the same ballpark. I've seen nothing that has told me otherwise. You know, it could be one of those weird games where, like you say, it comes down to who turns the ball over the most.
Right.
It could come down to a kick, which it could. Your score indicates that it very well may.
I think it will.
No matter what you think it's going to be, this is not going to be more than a touchdown game. I can't see it being far more than a 10-point game at all.
And you know what I have said about my 34-31 score and it coming down to a kick, I don't necessarily mean at the end of the game we're going to have a kick.
It's all right.
You never know who you're going to see on IgniteLink. So.
Well, as long as they remain clothed, I'm okay with it. But my 34-31 is not coming down to a kick on a last-second kick. Those kicks that you make in the first quarter are going to be just as important today as the rest of the game. We cannot leave points on the board when you're looking at a close game like that. Well, of course, because that's a distinct advantage for App State is the kicking game. Reese Verhoff has made a few kicks, but he's already missed several kicks this year, whereas App State place kicker Michael Hughes has not. He's perfect from field goals this year, 5 of 5, 10 of 10 on extra points. Yeah. They know when they need points and he's in range, they're going to get points.
Yeah, and this is not a fluke year. It's not like he's having a career year. He's done this his entire career there. He's made big kicks. He's been in big games. He's always come through for him.
Yeah, this is not anything new. He's been in, like you said, big games, big situations. I doubt that there's a scenario that's going to happen today that he hasn't seen or been in before, right? Now, it doesn't mean that he's automatic. Anybody can miss, and I surely hope that those first couple of misses on the season happen at the hands of these uprights today.
An 0 for 5 would look really good.
It'd be pretty good.
Yeah, look good.
That sure would speak to a whole lot of passing yards and not a lot of points.
Yeah.
But I'll take what I can get. I am confident in the Herd's ability to go out and win this football game without needing a break or several breaks or just things to happen. I feel like we can go toe-to-toe with this team and just beat them straight up. Right?
All right. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go over and get the donation jar.
Okay.
And I'm going to look and see where we're at right now. Just as a talking point before I walk off, before the tailgate, we were at $860 that we were going to make. That's before any kind of donations that I've seen. I've checked my phone there a little bit ago. Didn't have any, but we're going to see what we got physically as well.
Yeah, let's make one last push as we get ready to power down this ThunderCast Live powered by IgniteLink. Again, we're taking donations for the relief fund for our friends and conference mates in Boone, North Carolina. The easiest way to do that is to Venmo Russ at Russ Living Good at RUSLIVINGOOD. If you're physically here at the tailgate, you can drop some money in the donation jar. It's all going to get totaled up and made one big donation right here during the tailgate. Reach in your pocket a little bit and let's help our friends in Boone.
Right now there's $40 in there, and I got a gentleman that's getting ready to put some more in there.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we are now over $900 that we know that we are sending to App State. Again, guys, they've been decimated down there. You look at the videos, you look at the photos, and I still feel like that does not tell the story when you're talking about people losing their homes, their lives, their vehicles. Their life has been uprooted. Jed, do we have anybody else on the chat?
Yeah, the little cooler.
Yeah, we've got Michael. He says, I expect our O-line to play tough and our wide receivers to catch like they have glue in their hands. So,
Michael, I really hope we see that. We have seen a couple of drops this year, but our wide receiver play has been drastically elevated this year.
Yeah.
We brought in some absolute weapons. Last year it was kind of cookie cutter on the type of wide receiver that we had. They seem to be kind of interchangeable in size and talent and that sort of thing. This year we've got anywhere from 5'6", who is a matchup nightmare because of his elusiveness and speed, to 6'4", who is a matchup nightmare because, hey, he's jumping a foot taller than everybody else and he's making Statue of Liberty plays out there.
So it's also, for me, the thing that sticks out the most is the physicality, and I don't mean the physical stature. What I mean is the physicality when the ball is in the air. We have seen a catch every game this season where a herd receiver has gone up and just made a grown-ass man type of catch, wrestled the football away, or made an acrobatic catch. We saw Christian Fitzpatrick do a mid-air stiff arm, for crying out loud. You just don't see that all the time. And it's been a while since we've seen receivers do that consistently in Huntington. We've had great receivers over the years. We've got guys that'll make plays and guys that are elusive and all, but we haven't seen a whole crop, a whole wide receiver room of guys that are just contesting with their physicality with the ball in the air.
Yeah, and it's deep. We've got, you look at our 4th, 5th, 6th wide receivers, we think that is an upgrade over what our 4th, 5th, and 6th were last year.
Yeah.
We've got a really deep, diverse kind of wide receiver room. Talking about offensive line, we hit it earlier, only giving up 5 sacks. Last year we gave up 37, I think it was. So much improvement. We think that they are playing lights out, but also shout out to Coach Huff, Coach Dagey, Coach Creel for putting in this plan of saying we're going to get rid of the ball quick, and that's going to limit the pressure that comes onto our quarterback.
Yeah, I agree. It's a nice change of pace. It's a nice breath of fresh air, but I think ultimately at the end of the day, like we want to see, as we've been saying, we need to see that ball flying around. That's what we want to see.
Air raid, baby.
Right.
Put the raid in there. Put the air in there. We definitely want to see this for the first time this year.
Put the raid in air raid, right? We like the air run. It does what it's supposed to do, but especially here on homecoming where we're expecting a big crowd against a historic rival in a really great, important game, let it fly, baby. Let it freaking fly. Bring Joey Aguilar to town and have him leave second in the passing yards category today. Have him leave second in the passing touchdowns category today. Have him leave first in the interceptions category today. That's the type of stuff that we want to see as Herd fans here on homecoming at Jones C. Edwards Stadium.
Jed, we've got you still off camera. Would you like to come over here and give us your MVP and start wrapping
I can do
this
that
up?
real quick.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, he's coming in. I'm going to slide out of the frame like I always do. Tag,
All right.
you're it.
So we've been talking about 34-31 for me, 31-24 for KD. Where are you seeing this one go?
Yeah, I'm kind of right in that same camp. You know, I know they've had that was just a bizarre game against South Alabama. I thought that was just crazy. We always play this team tight. It's always a rivalry game.
Oh, good.
We always, it doesn't matter how each of us come into the season, it's going to be a tight game. So I see a 28-21 type scenario. I'd love to see more, maybe get us more into the 30s points wise, but I think I'm going to go with a 28-21 touchdown victory for the Herd.
All right, and who do you see being the most valuable player for getting that 28-21 victory?
That's so. I want it to be Stone Earl, but I think that as we continue to put the ball in the hands of AJ Turner, I have to go with Turner today. I think we're going to see some more phenomenal catches from Metcalf. I think Fitzpatrick's going to get involved in the game some, but I think it's going to, if he can do what he's been doing, he's going to break off a big run, put us in a position to score when it matters most.
So I had predicted Stone Earl to be the MVP as well, and I think that he kind of needs to have that welcome party, that coming out party. This is the first conference game, and no better time to start this run on conference than having a breakout game. So I had him there as well. And we finally, it looks like LV Coldclaw is on his way back over here.
Tailgates we've had in the past, we've had other podcasters here. Oh, really?
We're going to get LV on here. We're going to get LV on here.
Get him, go get him.
We'll give him your stuff.
Yeah.
I get a crayon out and try to tell KD what I'm thinking.
All right, I'm going to pop right back off so you can talk to him.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, Jed with Ignite Link always does an amazing job with us. We love having him on camera. He's pretty much as much of the ThunderCast as we are. I mean, he's been here since the early days. And again, we cannot bring this show to you without Ignite Link. If you have business that needs Ignite Link services, that needs Layer 1 services, get with Jed. LV,
What's going on, right?
been a long time coming, man. We talked about it 2 weeks ago. Maybe 3. I can't remember how long it was when I saw you up there at the tailgate in Columbus. But we talked about having you on the show. Here you are.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and fine. Jed, you got him? All right.
Good to be back.
What are you thinking about today?
I think today's a great day. It's homecoming here at Marshall. Good to be back. We're starting off the Sun Belt Conference play. We're honoring the 94th Southern Conference champs and then the 99 top 10 ranking Marshall Thunder and Herd team. So I think it's a great day here in Huntington. It's going to be a great day today.
And if you had to come up with a score prediction for today, what are we looking at?
I think it's going to be one of those defensive type days. Appy State is our rival school. Like if it's any team since I've been here that they come to play, no matter if they're 1-10 or if they're 10-0, they're going to come here and give us our best. And we know what's happening down there in North Carolina.
Yeah.
So they're playing with a lot of emotion and a lot of people behind them today.
Right.
So I think we're going to pull it out. I think we're going to pull it out in the close one, 24-19.
Man, we've all been right around there. So I said 34-31. KD said 31-24. Jed said 28-21. Is that correct, Jed? And you got 24-19. So we're all looking at less than a touchdown. Vegas likes that as well. I've seen anywhere around the 3.5 mark. Some places closer to a pick'em, 1-2 points at best. So look for a close game today. Pretty much all the predictions have been going that way. Who do you see being the MVP to get us to that 24-19 prediction that you have?
I think our defense. I like our defense, our guy, J.J. Roberts. I like him
Man,
making
he
some
looked
big
good last
plays.
week.
He looked good every week.
Yeah, he does.
And I'm glad to see him back and healthy after what happened last year.
That's
and
right.
I saw that play live.
Yeah.
And he came up hard and fast.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad that, he's okay and he's back out there helping the Herd's defense and guiding us. So I think we need to run the ball today. That's one, our strength on offense is our offensive line. And I think we need to give them boys put their hands on the ground and let's just start pushing people back.
All right, so KD and I said that we needed to have more of an air raid because we haven't seen it yet this year. We need to do that. You're going the opposite route, say we need to run. South Alabama ran it all over App State earlier this year. All over them. They just pushed them around. They had long chunk plays. They had consistent 5-6 yards here and there. I don't remember the exact total yardage, but I think they put up about 340 on them on the ground. So do you see us being able to do something like that with A.J. Turner today?
You just said it. Why wouldn't we? We have to play to teams' weaknesses. We're not we might run an air raid offense, but I haven't been seeing too much air in that raid.
That's right.
When we've been a ground and pound type of team over the history of Marshall.
Yeah.
I'm a receiver saying that, to where our run used to set up our pass.
So even in those days where everyone remembers in the early to mid 90s where we threw the ball all over the place, we had legendary wide receivers, we still had amazing running backs, and we had a balanced offense at worst, calling it balanced. We've talked about a couple of running backs before. Low Turner, we talked about him. He was here at the same time and didn't get the same amount of press that someone else did there because they were putting up crazy stats. But Low Turner put up 1,000 yards one year, and he was second on the yards that we put up, and we were still, fans would consider us a passing team at that time.
Now you said that, you can say Low Turner, Doug Chapman, Eric Thomas, one of my teammates that's here today, that my high school teammate, the reason why I got here to Marshall.
Yeah, he was walking by with you earlier, right?
Yep. Eric Thomas in '96 all had 1,000 yards.
That's right. And we talked about before, when Chris Parker was here before you, he was putting up years like 1,750 yards, years that have not been seen much at all anywhere across the nation. And he was doing that, and an all-time running back that was here right before him, but then was here at the same time, Glenn Pedro. Good fan of the ThunderCast. We love Glenn here. He had 31 touchdowns here, and people think about that era only about Chris Parker because look at what Parker did. Well, it's kind of the same thing with Low Turner and kind of the same thing with Eric Thomas. We had all these guys here, but one was getting the press. The others were just thought of, well, they do it when they're in there, but they're not the starter. But there comes Eric right there.
Yep.
We are thought of as a passing team back then. If you ask any fan, they'll tell you we aired it out and that's all we ever did, but we've always had a really good rushing game.
Yep, I agree, and I think that's something that, it's not just us that they're shying away from running the ball. It's all over college football.
Yeah.
I mean, my pet peeve is I'm not a big fan of shotgun every play.
We talked about that. Yeah.
I'm not, and it hurt us in the Ohio State game. We're 4th and 1. We're shotgun. Now it's 4th and 6.
Yeah.
And we lose 3 yards.
That's even if you're in the pistol, you're 4th and 6. If you're in the shotgun, it's more like 4th and 8 or 4th and 9.
And then you got to channel back. It goes to, why we got our boys in the weight room? Why are we pushing the sled? Why are we doing this during the summer when it's time to get 1 yard, we can't get 1 yard? And that's not just Marshall, that's going across all of college football. And you see it in the pros, they're under center. By being in shotgun, it just takes so much away from your offense. I'm watching the Ohio State game, and we're just predictable. Like it's not, we don't the defense don't have to think anymore. Like, you put a guy in the center, guess what? The defense has to think, oh, they might play action. They can hand it off. We have to worry about screen to the running back. Now we might have to worry about the fullback in the flat. Yeah. It makes the defense think more than if you're in shotgun, oh, let me just read option and then play the slant or the fade. So I think it is not helping us out any to be in the shotgun every play. Yeah. Like, it's not helping the quarterbacks. It's not helping our offensive linemen. And then it's not going to help if we finally get under center when it's 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, when they know we're going to run the ball when we haven't been doing it all game.
Yeah. So before we wrap this up, I'm going to get KD back over here to sign off for me. But before we wrap this up and everything, tell everybody what LV Cold Claw is up to now. You and I talked about it, but what are you doing that Marshall University just started a few years ago? Let them know what LV's up to.
LV is starting the aviation program, best aviation program in the nation. Go ahead and walk through that, sir. Starting the Marshall Aviation Program. I did my first discovery flight a week ago, and I'm getting up here, starting class here soon. To be a first-class pilot, I want to do cargo planes, Atlas, UPS, FedEx. So that's what I'm doing. And I came back to Huntington to start the aviation programs. And shout out to everybody that's involved in the aviation program, to Mr. Brad Smith, Miss Nancy, everybody over there, Michael, my pilot that took me up and let me land the plane and let me take off. And it's been amazing. And I can't say enough good things about the aviation program that Marshall started here. And if you're not considering, if you're out there listening, the aviation across the United States is losing over 400,000 people in the next 20 years. By 2030, 30,000 pilots. So if you're looking for a career, you might want to take a look at aviation within maintenance and flying.
Look what Marshall's doing with that. Look what they're doing with bringing in the cybersecurity
That's another one.
Building.
Come on, walk through there, sir.
Every time.
I always wanted to say that.
But cybersecurity, the same deal. They're talking about how, there are not enough people out there to fill the jobs that are already there. Marshall is forward thinking with bringing these things in. So Marshall fans, you're watching at home, feel great about how our university is taking great leaps forward right now and where we're headed. I'm going to bring KD back on. KD. We're going to bring KD back on, and I'm going to try to get a total here. I'm going to have you come on because I'm going to get a total here, and I'm going to make that donation so we can wrap up.
I want to try to get the app fella on here.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm done. Y'all want more? You want to ask me some questions, KD?
I got all. I shouldn't have said that out loud.
Good to see you again, buddy.
You too, dude.
I know you moved and everything. Everything good?
It's been wrecked. Yeah, it's just busy.
That's how moving is.
I still got you on my radar. I want to do the show. Spoiler alert for everybody that's listening or watching the show right now. LV and I have been trying to get together to bring you guys another episode of Inside the Thunder with LV, because damn, who wouldn't want to hear about the times with the Herd in the late and the mid 90s? Because special times in Huntington.
It was live. Like, I was just telling one of my buddies, I was like, man, I don't know what this tailgating is about. I'm just new to all this, walking around and hanging out and doing too much eating. We just showed up at the stadium and gave you guys a show back when I played. And, to see all this and the fans and the Herd Nation, it's giving me chills just being out here. And it makes I get that itch. Like around Saturdays, I get sad because I can't put them pads on more.
I was going to say, does it feel like this, man, I think I can do one more play, and then the harsh reality when you decide to get up out of the chair and you're like, yeah, maybe not. Because I know that feeling. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I left everything I had on the field, and I'm happy with how I ended my career here. And like I said, I have 4 championship rings. Only 1 loss in this stadium right here. That was against Montana.
1995, right?
95, 20-22.
Wow.
Only 8 career losses total. 77 wins. So,
Unbelievable.
Yes, team of the 90s.
Yeah.
We did big things over here. Like, losing wasn't an option. That wasn't ever an option. You could have put us against any team in the nation from 94 to 99.
Yeah.
You could have put us against any Power 5, and I'll call them out right now, and I guarantee you we'd have gave everybody a run for their money like we did when we stepped on there.
You can't deny that. I mean, you talk about losing wasn't an option, but particularly losing inside of these gates was not an option. There's a reason that they say nowadays you got to protect the M, because if the M was never protected before, you wouldn't be talking about that right now.
Exactly.
You guys vaunted.
Yeah.
This became one of the most toughest places to play in college football for a damn reason. Because you don't just march into Jones C. Edwards Stadium. Actually, at the time, it was Marshall Stadium. You don't walk into Marshall Stadium and just expect to win, right?
No.
That's what we're trying to create. 2-0 this year, trying to go 3-0. What? 913. $913 is the total right now. Come on, we got another $87 out there in donations, because we'd like to get that to $1,000 to help our friends in Boone, North Carolina.
Yes.
Help them recover. You know how Herd Family does it. We don't just take care of our own, we take care of our entire family. And it doesn't really matter. This week it happens to be the folks in black and gold that need our assistance in the North Carolina region. Dig into your pockets and send those Venmos to Russ at Russ Living Good. We need $87 to get to $1,000. That would be so freaking awesome. As a matter of fact, LV, if you don't mind, I don't want to give anything else away, because we got an episode of Inside the Thunder to do.
Okay.
But we happen to have an App State student here tailgating with us. Him and his dad been here for a while. I'd really love to get him on air. Would you mind if I brought him on and just got his take on his trip to Huntington?
Hey, I'm all for it, man. Like I said, open arms. Anybody that can help Appy out, let's show them our love at Marshall, and that's what we're about here. And we know they're going through a tough time with the hurricane and the flooding in North Carolina. So let's give what we can, and let's just show everybody how we are Marshall.
That's right. That's right. If you don't want to listen to me, listen to a Herd all-time great, because that. All right. Keep pushing. We're almost there. We are almost there. We are almost there. Come on, Cam. Let's talk about coming to the Herd. Come to the Herd. Take the headphones from LV, the all-time great. Look at you're getting the hardware straight from the all-time. Straight from the all-time.
How's it going?
Appreciate you. We'll talk soon, brother. Man, how about it? Trip to Huntington, West Virginia?
Yes, sir.
It's the first trip to Huntington?
Yes, sir.
Damn! First trip to Huntington, West Virginia. You're treated to one of the finest tailgate spots in all of Huntington, I'll tell you that much. You found yourself on ThunderCast Live, powered by Ignite Link, to talk about App State and the Herd. Now, we've been on for a while. Usually we don't go over an hour, but you know what? There's a lot going on, and we want to give you an opportunity to get in here and talk about your team. So we'll do that. Let's spend a couple minutes. Russ and I have been talking. 2-2 does not accurately describe what App State is this year. It's a loss against Clemson and an uncharacteristic loss at the hands of South Alabama. What is it that we don't know about App State that our Herd fans need to know that you know about App State?
I feel like due to the hurricane situation, the team's just going to come together, and I feel like that it's going to be a complete game today from the boys.
Okay, so I've since the get-go have been saying this really feels like a throwback, just good old-fashioned dogfight football game. It doesn't feel like a high-flying shootout type game to me. Mm-hmm. How does this one look to you from your perspective, knowing what you may or may not know about Marshall and what you do know about your team?
Well, I haven't watched any Marshall games this year, but seeing our team, I watched the first half of the Ohio State game.
Oh, that's all you need.
Yeah. So I feel like our defense has had 2 weeks to regroup.
Okay.
We've had a lot of injuries, so we'll see. But I feel like, we're going to get back in the groove today.
I would never expect you to pick against your team.
Yeah.
But how do you feel? How do you see it? What you got a score prediction?
Honestly, if we can, we struggle against the run. So if we can stop the run today, I feel like we have a pretty good chance. But yeah, we shall see. Well,
I know, but that's not a score prediction. You're not going to get off the hook. You got to give me something.
Give me 31-28 App State.
Ooh, okay. He's fallen right in between all of us. Russ says 34-31 Herd. I say 31-24 Herd. And you're right in between all of that. You're just leaning the other way as to be expected. Well, I got to tell you, I love hearing an actual App fan say we're not that good against the run, because we have been suspecting that might be the case. And I'm going to give you a guy that you'll know by the end of the game. His name is A.J. Turner. That's the guy you will come away. If you don't know anybody else on offense, you will know that name. Now, we all know about Joey Agnew.
Yeah.
So he ain't creeping up on nobody, right? We know what we're in for. We know we're in for a pass-heavier type of offense. I hope that we're adequately prepared for that. I'm also hoping that you guys are not adequately prepared for this stellar defensive line that Marshall really has. I got to say, thanks for coming on Cam with me. Thanks for talking about the game. Overall, folks got to know, how have you been treated since you've been in town?
I mean, this place is great. Everybody's been nice, offering us drinks, offering us food. It's been great. Great tailgate scene. I love it. I come back any day.
I like hearing that, because Huntingtonians love to be known for Herd hospitality, but what I'm also hearing is they owe us one when we go to Boone. That's
yes, sir. We'll see you next year.
Yeah, what I'm going to need is a rickshaw to get me up from the bottom of the mountain up to the top.
I think we're going to have to wind this thing down.
I got some tailgating to do.
I got some tailgating to do, too. So do me one favor, just reach that mic over to Russ, because Russ always takes us out of here. Russ, do your thing.
Yeah, so whether you see us at the Joan, whether you see us at the Cam, or whether you see us at our tailgate with our App State brothers of the Sun Belt, trying to do what we can as Herd fans to give back for the disaster that they're facing right now. No matter where you see us, we're always going to be saying, go Herd.
Go Herd. It's ThunderCast Live, powered by Ignite Link, live from the C lot of Joan C. Edwards Stadium.